Microphone's on?
Are we at 1 minute? Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Call the meeting to order. It is January 21st, 6:30 p.m. and call for the quorum check.
Thank you, sir. Councilmember Vaughn?
Here.
Councilmember Rubal?
Here.
Councilmember Putt? Here. Councilmember Goldsby?
Here.
Councilmember Coleman?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Fitzpatrick?
Here.
Mayor Maxwell?
Here.
You have a quorum, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Bowen is going to give the benediction this evening and also a small memorial, and then I'll lead us in the pledge.
I'd like to start off tonight honoring Janice Hughes. Janice was a UC resident who came to several city council meetings and sadly passed away from cancer. Janice always dreamed of a community garden for UC. 2 years ago, I bought her this tiny little pink flower in a pot for her garden, just a small token. I was not expecting it to live for very long. Well, for 2 years, she sent me photos of this little pink flower that became 2 flowers, then 3 flowers, and 4 flowers, and it never stopped growing. Janice had this amazing green thumb, and what started as a small pink flower blossomed into several gorgeous pink flowers that lived for years. It was just another lesson that even small and tiny things have the potential to grow into large and beautiful things if you put in the time and effort. I would now like to honor Janice with a moment of silence, and then I'll lead us into the prayer. Dear Lord, thank you for everything you've given us. Thank you for keeping our first responders and essential staff members safe. Thank you for the beautiful residents in our city who make our city the wonderful place that it is. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. Pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
I know what happens when we don't get in school.
Are we dependent on electronics? Yes, we will.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to modify the meeting a little bit tonight due to the weather. We have a few folks, basically the modification is because of the weather, so that some of the folks that live far away are not going to be driving on icy roads and give the advantage to be able to come in and participate for the full agenda at a later date. So as we're making motions and some coming across, there's 4 items that we will need to cover today though. First off though is going to be citizens to be heard. And I have one person signed up, and that's Ms. Elizabeth Parker. And Ms. Parker, you may stand up, please. Please, and state your name and your address.
Elizabeth Parker. I do go by Beth, and
Go ahead.
okay. I live at 111 Malaga Circle, Universal City. That is in the Coronado Village subdivision. MALHGA. Okay. Thank you, Ashton. I do know Janice. I did know Janice Hughes for many, many years, and we're so sorry that we lost her. Anyway, I would like to speak simply about the closure and repurposing of Coronado Village Elementary School. And as I understand from last Monday night, January 13th, we heard that the board had approved in December. The Judson ISD board had approved the closure. And we're into the repurposing phase. After the meeting that we had, I was able to talk with Dr. Fields and a number of other people who attended the meeting. And it seemed like as the week went on, to me, as a longtime resident of the city and a Judson taxpayer, I felt like the whole proposal, the repurposing, the presentations that were made, they became much bigger than just a Judson ISD issue. And that's the reason I thought that I wanted to speak. Some of the things that we were concerned about, I mean, this week I had looked at the report that Judson had filed with the Texas Education Agency regarding, like violent and criminal incidents that had taken place under the school. The rumors that we heard back in September, or in the fall, I should say, close Coronado Village Elementary. What are we going to do with it? They need a place for what they're now calling the J-Care program, which was formerly known as like the District Alternative Education Program. So I was looking at things like this. I do see that to Thursday evening there will be a school board meeting, and it will be with all the reports that the school district has to file at the end of the 23-24 school year. So I'd already looked at this, and I see that it is going to be on the board agenda. But in terms of getting into a larger problem, what I see, one of the proposals on last Monday night was special education needs a place to go. They need to co-locate some of their services, and putting the J-Care program, the alternative program, at Coronado Village Elementary. The considerations that I feel that when the school district presented to the board recommendations of how we're going to fix this, how we're going to change boundaries, we have too many kids here, not enough kids here, then they gave advantages and disadvantages. Nowhere in those presentations to the school board did I see what was the disadvantage to closing Coronado Village Elementary School. What was the advantage? It wasn't even like a consideration. All their considerations were Wortham Oaks, South Country, and Rolling Meadows. So going past that, looking at the bigger picture, to the residents of Coronado Village subdivision, we are now looking at the city of Universal City. They can't do anything about the fact that one school district governs part of it and another school district governs another part. Nor can they help the fact that Rose Garden was closed, and the name of the one down there on Aviation,
Northview Elementary.
Northview, yeah, that those were closed. So we're looking at Universal City from years ago. Basically, we had 4 elementary schools. So what are we going to be left with the closure of Coronado Village? One elementary school, Olympia, unless there's another one I don't know about.
Salinas Elementary.
What?
Salinas
Salinas
Elementary.
is part of it, okay. So we've got 2, the city has a population of what, 20,000 people or something like that. So that was one of the things that I thought about in terms of city population, ownership of homes, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know what the relationship might be between Judson ISD and Universal City Police Department in terms of, do they respond to calls at the school districts, or do only school district police departments respond to?
Sorry to interrupt, ma'am, but we need to wrap up.
Am I done?
Yeah, you've got a couple of another.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead and finish up your thought.
So
Finish your thought.
I think that's what my concern is, because like I said, I feel like it's bigger than a JISD problem, because if the police department here at UC is going to be responding because they're putting troubled children over there at, Coronado Village, then are we going to have enough support from the police department as a city, as a community? And the other thing that we found out is any of the students from the Judson ISD that are taken to Bexar County Juvenile Facility, once they come back to the school district, or they're released to come back to the school district, they must go through the J-Care program. And we just feel like having the Coronado Village surrounded on all four sides by residents, it's simply not the place. And we, a lot of the things that, like I said, I found out just this last week, and I feel like the district is just dovetailing right into special ed and the J-Care program or the alternative program. And I think it's going to have a bigger impact addressing the board. Yes, I'm planning to go Thursday night because it's no one's fault that I just kind of felt like I put things together this last week after the January 15th meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and your concerns are taken into account. I'll close that out. Under management report, we're going to postpone that to February. Development update presentation is also going to be postponed until February the 4th. Public hearing, though, that is scheduled for tonight, we need a motion to postpone that until the 4th of February.
So moved.
So moved?
Second.
Second. And don't really need a vote on that one. We will take a vote just to be on the safe side.
Yes, sir, we do need a vote.
We do need a
on
vote?
that.
Okay.
So I have a motion by Mr. Goolsby and a second by Ms. Bowman. Is that
And
correct?
call for the vote.
Thank you. Mr. Goolsby?
Aye.
Ms. Bowman?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Fitzpatrick?
Aye.
Councilmember Putt?
Aye.
Councilmember Rubal?
Aye.
And Councilmember Vaughn?
Aye.
Motion is approved, sir.
Go with that one. Under announcements, basically, we're going to forego my comments tonight with the exception of one thing. I'd like a reminder to everyone that election season is coming up in May. We have 3 seats that are going to be open, and so their council packets are available for pickup online and at the front desk for anyone who may want to run for city council. We have 3 seats coming up, and I've got 3 people that I think are going to be running for re-election. We're encouraged to run for re-election anyway, so we'll wait from there. Other than that, I have no other mayor announcements. We were going to do a proclamation tonight for Nova Sigma, Beta County area, and that's going to be postponed until February the 4th also. Council member, do you have any announcements or anything to do tonight, or do you wish to forego those? Very quick. Mr. Bernard.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Sitting on the other side of the dais, the resident that I met that was quite impressive was Miss Hughes. And as you know, I didn't know she had passed. I was following through with some of the ideas that she had. Fund our needs before wants became my mantra because of talking to her. The last presentation to this council meeting, she played a short song that there was some chuckling about. But the bottom line of the song was, you don't know what you've lost until it's gone. And she was talking about water that night. And in this particular case, it actually applies to Janice. So I appreciate the comments of fellow councilman member, and she definitely was an asset to the city. And I know we're not to comment on presentations. I will say, however, I moved to Universal City based on elementary schools and the infrastructure that was available in Coronado City. And I will, as an individual, support our city and essentially Coronado Village at upcoming meetings. I thank you for your presentation, and I know we take no action on that. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Then we're going to close that out. Under action items, item A, ordinance 655, we're going to postpone until February 4th.
We're going to the minutes, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry, did I jump? I'm sorry, I did jump one. Under the consent agenda, need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Call for the vote.
Councilmember Goolsby?
Aye.
Councilwoman Vaughn? Bowman?
Aye.
Sorry about that. Mayor Pro Tem Fitzpatrick?
Aye.
Councilmember Putt,
Aye.
Councilmember Rubal,
Aye.
and Mr. Councilmember Vaughn.
Aye.
Thank you, sir. Motion is approved.
Section 8 is now open. Under action items number 9, ordinance 655T 2025 specific use permit for 436 and 438 Boulevard is postponed until 4 February. Resolution B, we do need to action tonight, so I need a motion to approve.
Motion. Second.
Don't worry.
Any discussion? Call for the vote.
Thank you. Councilmember Bowman,
Aye.
Councilmember Goolsby,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Fitzpatrick,
Aye.
Councilmember Putt,
Aye.
Councilmember Rubal,
Aye.
and Councilmember Vaughn.
Aye.
Motion is approved, sir.
And item C, resolution 976, 2025, authorizing the submission of a recreational trails grant application. Call for a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
One quick discussion point. Essentially, the grant is for, is 80% funded by the state Recreation Trails Program and 20% for the city, but in the documentation, there was no discussion of the magnitude of the grant that's being applied for. So 20% of $100,000, 20% of $1 million. Essentially, it'd be nice to have that defined.
Yes, we are, the city is matching $75,000 for this grant, so that's our portion of it that we'll be submitting.
Okay. I actually did see it already.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We moved in.
Thank you.
All right. Call for the vote.
Mr. Vaughn has a question, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Can you, you have this nice map for us. Can you tell us what this would cover or what this would get us?
So our phase 1, everything that you see in phase that are yellow was our phase 1 that you currently can walk as of today. You can walk from Veterans to the back of UC Park. So the next, it's labeled their phase 2, that we're calling it the cave trail because you're going past the caves, which is in purple there. That will connect us to Kitty Hawk Road. So that's my next phase, and we'll take it as far as the money will allow us to go through there.
And
That is our phase 2 that we're submitting for this grant here.
would that be concrete? Would it be asphalt?
It'll be the same cement stabilized base that we have in phase 1. If you walk that one, it'll be the same material that we have go through. There'll be some areas that are going to be remaining gravel because we are going to have to cross through the creek and stuff like that. So it'll be a little rough terrain, but then it picks back up to our cement stabilized base that we'll have out there.
Okay. Can you define for them, I know what you mean by stabilized base because I've been there, but not everybody's been out there. Define the difference between a stabilized base and a sidewalk,
So a sidewalk trail. So
which is what you see when you go to the trailhead.
yeah, so typically your sidewalk trails is concrete that you walk on, just like your sidewalk that you would have in front of your house. Your concrete. Cement stabilized base is your base material like road base mixed in with concrete like Portland cement, and it hardens. So that's what we try to put in the creek because we know one day it's going to flood. It's going to flood. So we've had some floods and it stabilizes. We put it in, we embed it in the ground so that it doesn't lift or anything like that. So that's so when we build it, this project is an in-house project. My staff will build it. We built the phase 1. We have the machinery to do it, and so that way we can take that money as far as we can go with it. We were fortunate to do that. Everything you see in yellow in that first phase, we were able to do that with the last Texas Parks and Wildlife grant that we received.
So do you anticipate you'll be able to finish that phase 2 with the money, or?
Yes, I'm hoping to. It all depends. I mean, it all depends. When I built the other one, we took the money, we could go that far, but today's money, I'm hoping we can do it that far. But once we get the budget put together, I did put in $75,000 for our portion. We can always increase it in the future to go even further. But once we get the pricing laid out and the linear footage, we'll take it as far as we can because I can price it out with a contractor and it won't go that far, but in-house we can go a lot further with it, with our own resources.
And then will phase 3 be part of the below water crossing that we're building? Will it be like a joint walking trails / low water crossing?
No, the portion that's phase 2 is going where our low water crossing is, so that's phase 2. Phase 3 will pick up off of the trailhead that we'll have in phase 2 off of Kitty Hawk. And then phase 3 will start right there where we'll leave off, and it will continue and tie into the Harrison Park in Selma.
I thought that the blue little elbow that goes out for phase 3, that's not the road that goes down off Kitty Hawk?
That is, but I will have a trail that will parallel the road going up to Kitty Hawk. So when you're on the sidewalk where it dead ends now, you'll actually be able to take that trail from right there out of the neighborhood down to our trail down there.
Not on the road, but on a separate.
Correct, it'll be terraced down a little bit like such and head down to the trailhead that we'll have down where the parking lot's gonna be.
Okay, so this is the really hard one. So then when do you, if you had to put a date on phase 3, is that 2037? Is it 2027?
So this grant, once this thing gets approved that I found out, we have the $75,000 approved in our Texas Parks and Wildlife Grant Fund line item in parks. It actually have to be funded next year when we receive the grant. So when we submit next year for the next phase, we're in 2025 budget. I'll actually build phase 2 in 2026 budget. So the phase 3 won't be till 2027. Based on when they release funds to us.
Mayor.
Anybody else have any comments? Before we go for the vote, if you have not had an opportunity to go to the trail information, I have actually hiked most of these trails, and I think Mr. Gall has also. And some of the areas that have not quite been, they're still quite primitive. So, but if you get the opportunity, there's some good, interesting territory out there, and a lot of nature, a lot of, we have eagles and quite a few hawks and quite a few nightlife out there. And yes, there are some coyotes out there also. Haven't seen any rabbits though. Call for the vote.
Thank you, sir. I have a motion by Mr. Goldsby and a second by Ms. Bowman to approve. Mr. Goldsby?
Aye.
Ms. Bowman? Aye. Mayor Pro Tem Fitzpatrick?
Aye.
Councilmember Putt?
Aye.
Councilmember Rubal?
Aye.
And Councilmember Vaughn?
Aye.
Motion is approved, sir.
And we had that's item D, we need one of our members of the Parks and Recreation Committee resigned, and we're replacing that person with Ms. Christine Engel. So I need a motion to approve that.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Any discussion? Then call for the vote.
Thank you, sir. I have a motion to approve by Councilmember Vaughn and a second by Councilmember Putt. Councilmember Vaughn?
Aye.
Councilmember Putt?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Fitzpatrick?
Aye.
Councilmember Bowman?
Aye.
Councilmember Goldsby?
Aye.
And Councilmember Rubal?
Aye.
Motion is approved, sir.
And with that being said, I'd like to thank Councilmember Bowman for a very nice presentation and the memorial for Ms. Hughes. Very nice, and the way it was presented was, I think she would have loved that. With that, meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, sir. If you could all turn your microphones off, please.
What do you got going on? Turn it off.